Sabers hum, they light up the night. Pete and Nick keep the galaxy bright. From Tatooine sands to indoor trees, they're bringing the news with galactic ease. ATGLive, we're blasting away, talking Star Wars every Thursday. Interviews, opinions, and all the lore. Hop on the Falcon, they're opening the door. From Vader's breath to Grogu's charms, theories and chats, they keep us disarmed. Around the galaxy tonight, Chris and Kelsey keeping it tight. They're breaking news like a Death Star blast, taking your calls and reading your chats. The greatest guests and what you need to know. Pete and Nick lead the Star Wars show. ATGLive, we're blasting away, talking Star Wars every Thursday. Interviews, opinions, and all the lore. Hop on the Falcon, they're opening the door.
We're home.
Well, welcome to ATGLive, your Thursday night home for everything Star Wars news, Star Wars drinking games, guests, interviews, decorating tips, career advice, automobile buying tips. If you need it, if it's in your life and Star Wars is somehow connected to it, come hang out with us. We'll probably talk about it. We talk about a lot of sports around here. We're very sportsy in this neighborhood. But it's Thursday night and it's time for another ATGLive. I am your host, Nick Milkey. Funny enough, you don't see any of my co-hosts this evening. Pete is not here. He is out on assignment. Chris was going to be here tonight, and he had something come up unexpectedly, so you're stuck with me. And I'm sorry, but I've got an amazing guest that's going to make it much easier for you to have a good time and hang out tonight. We're still going to get to the Around the Galaxy news game. Pete might show up for that. We don't know. We're still on the bubble about that one. But I'm thankful you're here. I'm thankful you're watching. We're thankful for everybody who supports what we do. I'm going to do the thing that you do at the top of a podcast or a live stream. I'm going to plug some stuff. So honestly, the easiest thing to do is go to theSSWnetwork.com. From there, you will find a link to our Patreon department where you can get involved and support us for as little as $3 a month. You're going to get swag. You're going to get access to interviews when we do Around the Galaxy long form interviews, meetups, all kinds of fun stuff. We have a great group of patrons, and we appreciate your support. You can find our merchandise store. We have t-shirts that has been revamped in the last month and a half or 2 months. What else can you find there? News of the week. We have news stories. You can find links to our social media. Most of them are at the SSW Network, but social media is a shifting landscape of nonsense. So the best thing to do is go to the website, find the one that works for you. Maybe we'll be there. Maybe we won't. You never know. You can also see above my head, we have our voicemail line, 504-321-1501. If you call that number anytime, day or night, with a Star Wars thought, hot take, theory, reasons why you think we're stupid, whatever it is that you want to call and leave on our voicemail line, we'll entertain it. We have proven in the past, even if you don't like us, we'll probably play it online and talk about it. So call that number, leave us a message, check out the SSWnetwork.com. You're going to find everything you need to find that connects you to everything that we do on this show, Podcast of the Wheels, which we have not done in a while. And like I said, Around the Galaxy, which is our long form, more traditional podcast show. But I am hosting alone tonight for the moment. I do have a co-host who is winging his way in. We'll get to him in a minute when he pops up. But in the meantime, none of this would be possible without producer extraordinaire Kelsey. So Kelsey, get in here. Tell me how you're doing tonight. Save me from drowning.
I don't know. Like, it's kind of fun watching you drown. Like, I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm doing all right. I had a very long day, so my energy level and tolerance for shenanigans is we'll see. I did almost in honor of someone later tonight put up the solo movie, and I didn't quite have it in my heart to do it tonight. Like I got tipped terribly at my job today, and it was not good. So
that wasn't encouraging, was it?
No. I was like, you know what? I don't owe anyone anything.
That's right. You're gonna show up. You're gonna do your job. You're gonna
exactly.
Go home.
Yes, but no. I do like showing up for you guys.
Well,
you guys
we
make it
appreciate
fun.
that. That's right. We appreciate that. And like I said, we miss Pete tonight. We miss Chris tonight. We know they're out living life in the real world as we do sometimes. But there is still something important that needs to be addressed, and it is the start of a new month. We do a toast. Every week we do a toast. We do them themed. This is what we call the action figure drinking game. It started with Snoketoberfest. I'm not going to go through all the rest of them, but in Snoketoberfest, which is only another month away at this point, the OG is coming back. You take a beer, you drop a Snoke figure in it, and in the time that it takes to get those classic lines from Rise of Skywalker, I have been every voice you've ever heard inside your head, you have to chug that beer. That's how Snoketoberfest works. Well, we have expanded it into a year-long celebration. Every month has a new theme, and this month is no exception. This is the month of, and I have it on my dry erase board here, this is the month of Septeva, and we are celebrating our friend Carson Teva, played by our friend of this show, Mr. Paul Sun-Young Lee. Paul has been on with us a bunch of times. One of the kindest people that we've gotten to talk to in the Star Wars world. We are celebrating Septeva. Here's the problem with it being Septeva. They announced months ago that there was a Carson Teva action figure coming out officially, finally. It doesn't release until September the 9th. So those of us who have pre-ordered it, it's not out yet. You can't go pick it up at the store. So I'm having to kind of wing it a little bit. I do have this Carson. He's not going to fit in my beer. It's going to be problematic. So how do we pivot when we have this problem? We get another Star Wars action figure who is also a bearded Star Wars character. So standing in for Carson Teva tonight is my man Cobb Vance. Has a connection to the Mandalorian.
You just went with another bearded character.
He's got a beard, and he's handsome like Carson is. So we're going to make this work until our Carson gets here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So
you ready? All right.
We have our Carson. We have our substitute Carson. Oh, hold on. We're not ready yet.
No, you better be ready. Wait, it's not.
Right. Hang on. We're gonna back this up. We got to get our screen up here. Here we go. All right. And we got to throw a shout out to Chris for making our video this as he usually does. So fake Carson is going in. I'm toasting everybody that's hanging out and watching tonight. And we're going to wish you a happy Septeva. And Kelsey, can you hit that button for me?
I suppose.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
That was wonderful.
It is a great video.
Wow.
All thanks to Chris. Chris knows what he's doing, making the magic happen. And I think he was worried. I think he was worried I was going to put that Hot Toys bust into that beer. No worries there.
You thought about it, though, didn't you?
I considered it, but I would have just had beer in my lap. We would have had all kinds of problems. So, Kelsey, before we get started tonight and before we get to our guest, we do have a fabulous guest tonight. He is Mr. Alex Robinson. You know Alex. He is one of the hosts of the Star Wars Minute podcast, which I have said this before when he's been on. Alex Robinson and Pete the Retailer and Star Wars Minute are the reason I am a Star Wars podcaster myself. It's the first Star Wars podcast I listened to years and years and years ago. Such a brilliant concept. So much fun. I have been honored to get to be on with them a couple of different times. And, you know, when you listen to something, you're like, holy crap, I love these guys. What if I get to do that one day? It was a I kind of made it moment when I got that first, like, hey, do you want to come do a week of Star Wars Minute? Truly. So much fun. It's the reason I wanted to be a podcaster. Other than I love Star Wars, and who else am I going to talk to about it other than people on the internet? So they are what I consider the OGs of Star Wars podcasting, but also because they've been on a little bit of a hiatus, there's no more movies for them to break apart a minute at a time. They have been involved with our friends at the George Lucas Talk Show doing these Star Wars live reads. Patrick Kottner, friend of the show, Connor, Christina Ariel, so many of the guests and folks that they have had on doing these reads and they're on YouTube. They're absolutely hilarious. So much fun. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars Minute. We are also going to talk about, the live reads and how they came about and some of the fun of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back from that break, my co-host has shown up. He's joined us working remotely from his cell phone. Mr. Greg Iwinski is going to be here to help me talk to Alex. And we're just going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more ATG Live. Welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all kinds of Star Wars nonsense, including co-hosts who are walking down the streets of New York City as we're hosting the show.
I'm so sorry.
Dude.
It turns out the real thing is I am a council member for the Writers Guild of America East. You may have heard of us
Yes,
because
you
we
are.
shut down television for half a year to not get obliterated by giant companies, and had a meeting to talk about what's going on in late night. I don't know if you've heard about that. It's very bad. And sadly, I am one of the people responsible for figuring out what to do about it. So was in that meeting. It went a little long. Now I'm walking through Manhattan. If any of you are watching in Manhattan and want to John Wick style assassinate me, just trying to find a good place to post up and do some hosting.
No worries.
Apologies for the sound if you hear Ninja Turtles go by fighting crime.
It is all good, and we are glad to see you. We appreciate the hard work that you're doing with the WGA. I know we talked a lot during the strike before, and you kept us informed, and I think that's really important. And I know that we all agree you've worked in late night, and so I'm glad to know that you're on that task force now.
I'm gonna fix it all by myself. Don't
That's
worry.
right. Yeah, lift it up on your shoulders, and it's going to be great. Well, tonight we're excited. Yeah, that's right. We're excited to welcome Alex Robinson back to the show. Alex, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. It's been a minute since you've been on. How have things been going?
Good. Thanks for having me back. I miss talking about Star Wars every week.
Well, the Star Wars Minute has been on a little bit of a hiatus, and we do want to talk about that just briefly. It's been more than 10 years, hasn't it? Isn't that right?
Since what?
When did Star Wars Minute start?
Oh, I believe it started in 2013. So 12 years.
Yeah.
Now.
So, like I said, I consider you guys some of the OGs of Star Wars podcasting, early in on it. Great concept. Looking at the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. Lots of comedy, lots of humor. The amount of guests that, have been connected through there. People that we adore, Paul Scheer, what's his name? Sean Conan's podcast, Matt Gorley, all these people that we love so much. And we're going to talk about them when it comes to the live reads too. But that was such a formative thing. Like, you're a comic book artist, you're a writer, you've written graphic novels, like you've done a lot of things. Tell me a little bit about what Star Wars Minute did for you kind of career wise. Cause we all kind of get into podcasting for fun, but like y'all's kind of took off and it became a bigger thing.
Right. Well, back when I was first podcast I did was called the Ink Panthers, and I did it with my co-host Mike Dawson, who was also a cartoonist, and we used to semi-joke that if we could get paid to do podcasting, we wouldn't even bother doing comics because doing podcasting is so much easier than doing comics. It's just you sit there for hours and hours and hours by yourself when you're drawing, podcasting, you're talking to somebody. Anyway, so that's basically kind of what happened. The Star Wars Minute started, and it became like my position. I wasn't a cartoonist who was also a podcaster. I was now a podcaster who was also a that was the thing I was more known for, was being a podcaster. And so and then I guess probably about I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I said, I'm probably not going to do comics anymore because it's a lot of work for not much recognition. And so, yeah. So weirdly, it doesn't seem like my podcast success has not translated into comic sales at all. You know what I mean? Like,
That's right.
I've never heard from, or very few have people, or sometimes people have been like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were the same Alex Robinson that did those graphic novels." So,
hey, you're that podcast guy.
Yeah. So
swinging both ways.
I don't hype myself up.
When in your process of like a Star Wars Minute is there are so many Star Wars podcasts. There's so many people that want to talk about it. I have a Star Wars podcast. This is, we've got this show. When and how did you get the decision to do it minute by minute? Because you could do scene by scene, character by character. There's so many ways you could look at it. When did it hit you that like that was the way to break it down?
Basically, Pete the Retailer, my partner, came up with the idea. He'd been a guest on the Ink Panthers show that previously mentioned, and we thought we had a good rapport about talking about Star Wars, but what format do we use? And Pete at the time was listening to a Star Trek podcast, I think Mission Logs it might be called, and they basically do an episode for everything of Star Trek, but obviously that wouldn't last too long with Star Wars. It would last a lot longer now because there's so many hours of TV. But so yeah, he basically said, then what if we did it minute by minute? And I guess he broke it down to like the most smallest format it could possibly. I can't imagine.
You could have gone line by line, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that was basically how it came to be. We needed more than just 6 episodes of a show, so we said let's. And what also cracks me up is that the first episodes were like 10 minutes long. We were like, I can't believe we spent 10 minutes talking about 1 minute of Star Wars, and now our episodes are like half an hour long, minimum.
Yes.
So
yeah, it's fascinating, and to see the evolution of it. I got in, like I think I've told you guys when I was on with you, I got in pretty early on. I think I got in, somewhere in the middle of Empire, found it, stuck with you guys through everything else that you did, went back and listened to the old ones. But it went from being those short episodes to those longer episodes. Yeah. And again, it is kind of a rogues gallery of amazing guests and people. And of course, people that I didn't know that I got to know because of your show, and people that we've all had crossover with, like Heather Antos and, all these other folks that have been on with you guys, and either as a newer podcaster went, ooh, I've heard them on Star Wars Minute. I know they do podcasts. Let me reach out and see if they'll be on my show. Like, it kind of created this guest pool of like people for me to go after. For you, because y'all built a big community, and I know y'all have support. I saw you guys at Celebration in Anaheim a couple years back. What has been maybe the biggest personal surprise for you growing this kind of Star Wars Minute community? Has it been guests that you've had on that you're like, holy crap, they want to do this? Has it been running into somebody somewhere that goes, I love the show you do? What's been that big, like, oh, wow moment for doing Star Wars Minute?
Let's see. I think we aside from just the influencing Star Wars podcasts,
sure.
There's been a whole other people have taken on the minute by minute formula and done a bunch of I think there's over 200 movies now. People have done minute by minute. If you go to moviesbyminutes.com, you can find a complete listing there. And so the fact that all those podcasts, I can specifically say, without the podcast we did, they probably would never have existed. And so that to me is such a I don't know, humbling sounds so corny, but to know that all these people are engaged in this thing that is giving them pleasure solely, like, and we were the ones who kind of gave them the ball to run with, is really it's a great feeling to
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the fact that, like you said, the last time I looked at the Movies by Minutes website, because if it's there, if you like a movie, it's probably on there. Somebody's doing a Movies by Minute version. I know, was it Pete?
Some of the multiple people have done.
Oh yeah, and like I know there was a Godfather Minute. Was that you? Was that Pete and his brother, or you and your brother?
No, that was me and my brother.
Yeah. So Godfather Minute, yeah, Back to the Future. Like, it's there if you want it, and I think that's fantastic because it is such a fun format. Of course, you guys are the originals, and the humor that you bring to it, the way you even going through the credits and talking about the names and that kind of stuff, like, that's fun. Like, there's something in there. I want to pivot and transition a little bit to we've talked about you guys have been on hiatus. There's not any new movies right now. But you guys have found yourself in the last year or so in this new space with the Star Wars live read script events. And these are so much fun. It's you guys. It's the guys from George Lucas Talk Show. Connor has been on with us before. Patrick has been on a bunch of times. In fact, the reason I know Greg Iwinski is because of Patrick Kottner, because Patrick was live on Instagram one night. I offered to join his Instagram. And while we were talking, he's like, hey, I know another Star Wars guy you need to talk to. And so Greg and I talked on Patrick's Instagram live for like 20 minutes. I was like, we need to do this on my show.
That's
and
funny.
Then he's been one of my regular, connections, and we met in Anaheim as well.
Cool.
Where did
That's
the
also
idea for
because
these?
I know. Oh, I was just
Yeah,
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
I know Patrick because they were doing a bit. I love GLTS. This is my homage, walking through a city instead of being in a studio for a show.
Exactly.
But they were doing a long bit where Connor was talking about how he didn't want the URL to georgelucastalkshow.com. So I bought it. And then told Patrick, hey, I bought this. Where do you want me to redirect it to? And so like once every 2 years, Patrick tells me, oh, move the site to here or whatever. And I just have it in my...
Hilarious. That's fantastic.
Forever linked.
Yes. So these Star Wars live read events, it started with the holiday special, if I'm not mistaken.
The Phantom Menace.
It started with Phantom Menace. Okay.
Yeah.
So where did this idea generate from? I mean, obviously you guys have worked together. Patrick's been on, Star Wars Minute with you guys. What was kind of the seed that was like, hey, this is something fun we should do?
Well, a million years ago when we were covering the Phantom Menace, that was our first plunge into the prequels, and there was a lot of people. I feel like the prequels have kind of had a renaissance since, I guess maybe because the people who were kids back then have grown up, and now the people who loved it when they were kids can finally push aside the Gen X crybabies who were disappointed in them. And so Pete was always Pete the retailer said he was convinced the script is good for the Phantom Menace.
Right.
It's just the way it's executed that was bad. And he was like, I want to do a live reading of the script to prove that it was a good thing. And I guess at one point he mentioned this to Patrick Kottner, and Patrick, because he's a hustler and is, good at producing these kind of things, said, yes, we should do it. Let's do the live thing. And so, Pete worked on the script, and Patrick got to work booking as many awesome, funny people as he could. And, it was
and it has grown because it has grown. And at this point, and I want to talk about the naming convention for a moment for all of these. I have a theory, and I think I'm coming to you to confirm it for me.
Okay.
All of these are straight up Muppets inspired titles, right? I mean,
yes.
Every one of these has big Muppet vibes. So
the
holiday special is the Kashyyyk Life Day Carol. The Phantom Menace, the first one, was the Naboo movie. Attack of the Clones was the Great Camino Caper. Revenge of the Sith, Mustafar Takes Los Angeles. New Hope was McClunky Treasure Island, which is still one of my favorites. ESB is Minox from Space. Return of the Jedi is It's a Yubby Nubby Ewok Murder Party, which, Greg hosting the Yub Nub podcast, that one has to have some special hit for him. But like, this was pretty intentionally Muppet filmed, right? Is that, am I wrong here?
No, you are 100% right. That it definitely started off as Muppet. Well, see, I didn't realize it at first, because Pete would just say the Naboo movie. So what I did the posters for all the shows, and the first poster is, all the other posters are parodies of the Muppet posters, except for that one, because he didn't explain the joke to me. And then, oh, okay, I get it. They're all supposed to be Muppets. So I actually went back and redid the first one in a Muppet movie, template. So
I love that.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. And you just posted something about that recently, about that coming up maybe after the first of the year. So we will plug all that stuff in a little bit.
Yeah.
So what is the process for adapting these scripts like? You talked about Pete, kind of adapted the script a little bit for the live read. Is there any tweaking that has to be done? Do you try to go at it as it's written?
Yeah, I think generally, I don't think any dialogue is changed, because usually there's a lot of the stage directions mostly are the things that are trimmed down and cut down to kind of what they need to be, rather than, because the stage directions are read by me, Pete, and Patrick. and we are, no offense to those guys, we are the least funny people generally who are on the stage. So the least you can have us talking, and the more you can have, talented improvisers and celebrities talking, that's better. So yeah, I think P usually just takes the screenplay and then figures out how long it is and how long it, because each show, the first show we did, the Phantom Menace, wound up being something like 3.5 hours long, which was way too long. And so since then, we've cut the scripts down so much more. So we try to shoot for like 90 minutes, knowing that it will stretch out to 2 hours because of laughs and people improvising and, stuff like that. So, yeah, occasionally Pete will include stuff from like an earlier version of the script, which might have some weird or interesting things in it that didn't make the final script. So sometimes you'll see those pop up every now and then.
I love that. With the writing of it, I love that you get with the casting, the improv. So I guess what I'm asking is the vibe, is it intended to feel like an improv show? Is it intended to feel like where's the line? Because obviously you have moments and you have things that happen. And when you're watching it, like I am, you don't know if it's necessarily scripted or not. Like I was watching the Empire one the other week, and when Han and Leia are having the argument in the hallway, somebody actually does come up and walk through the middle of them. Excuse me, because that's the thing from the movie. And we all know it. It's a little part of that lore. But like, are those improv moments? Are those the things that you're telling folks, your cast and your people that they're, hey, at this point, do this?
Sometimes. A lot of times, particularly if one of the actors is a Star Wars fan and knows, which things are going to be, because it really ranges from people who have, only seen the movie one time to people who obviously can know the whole thing by heart.
Yeah, what is Lorraine Newman's familiarity with Star Wars?
Exactly.
Well, the funny thing is, after we did Attack of the Clones, she was like, this wasn't a real movie, this was never released, was it? We were like, yeah, it was.
It really was.
We'll pay good money to see this.
Well, and let's talk about that for a minute. Talk about the casting. You've had, greats like Lorraine Newman, Matt Gorley, who's on blown up and onto the Conan O'Brien podcast. You and Pete and Patrick are reading, but you've had Bobby Moynihan. You've had, there's so many people. Talk about the folks that have been involved. Talk about the process of kind of because it's a weird thing to bring nerds together, especially when it's nerds that like everybody knows. Like we know, who Bobby Moynihan is. We know who Christina Ariel is. Talk about bringing these casts together to do this.
Well, most of this falls under Patrick because Patrick, is really juiced in there and knows the, he knows a lot of people and, is friends with a lot of people. So it's a funny process because while we're getting ready for the show, like the month or 2 months before the show, there's all these names being thrown out. Oh, we got this person. Oh, we got that person. And I used to get so excited, but by the time the show actually came around, half the people had were no longer a part.
Fallen off. Didn't work out.
Because, they're all doing it for free. So if someone's like, yeah, I have a job that comes up, we're not going to be like, you jerk, so
how dare
you? That there's going to be some. So, yeah, everyone does it for free. They send digital scripts to everyone, but we don't think anyone ever actually reads it until they get there. So, so I don't know what the sort of chemistry that Patrick used. You'll have to have him on again to discuss the try to do a good balance. It's also hard because some of the movies there's not as many characters as you think, particularly like in Star Wars or Empire. There are relatively few characters in like an Empire who have speaking parts. So we want to have a lot of funny people on stage, but we don't want to have someone on to just go like, yes, sir, and then sit down. And that's all they do with the entire thing. So we try to spread out people's roles throughout the show. Well,
at this point, you've done 6 movies. We've done the original trilogy. You've done the prequels. You also did the holiday special. Is it safe to assume that we've got a sequel trilogy set of live reads in our future? Or are we allowed to talk about that? Can I ask that question?
January 10th. The good news is January 10th is we're going to do the Moof Milkers, which is our Muppet one, another, to tie in with the Muppet movie. But
Yep.
the bad news is the live show is already sold out. In-person tickets are already sold out, but you can still get live stream tickets by going to swliveread.com.
And that's a great testament to it. And I have seen that over the last couple, when Patrick has tweeted out or put out on social media, these tickets are gone. I highly encourage anybody that wants to get those live stream tickets. Watch it when it first happens, because that's where the magic is. Usually they end up on YouTube at some point. Most of them are on the George Lucas Talk Show YouTube page. You can go back and check out the ones that have already happened. Highly worth your time. Totally encourage everybody to do that. Here's my final question. Then we're going to get some plugs, and then we're going to do our news game after we take a quick commercial break.
All right.
Has there been any conversation about expanding these live reads into other properties outside of Star Wars, or is this only a Star Wars thing at this point?
That's a good question. We until we strangle this golden goose dead, and after we finish the Rise of Skywalker, and then maybe do Solo and Rogue One, I don't know if we would. What's funny is right after we did this, they started doing live staged readings of the Muppet movies at the same venue, and we were all like, "What?" Including you, using some of the same people. We're like, "What? You're totally biting our." So anyway, but you don't pay people, that's what you get, right?
That's right. Get your own idea, pal.
But like the movies by minutes thing, if this results in more comedy shows being produced, then great. I'm happy about it, and I'd like to go see. One funny thing is I see a totally different version of the show than everyone, because I'm on stage and I just see the backs of everyone. So I like watching the videos later to see oh, that's what everyone was laughing at. That's the face that got made or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And there's so many good things. And again, I can't encourage people enough to go watch them on YouTube, but you have an actor being R2-D2 and they're on their knees and they've got a cardboard thing on their head, or you've got, Chewbacca, who's a Fozzie Bear puppet, or you've got all these other things going on that it gives it that improv show feel, and it's live comedy regardless of what it is, and that's so special. Y'all did it at Dynasty Typewriter most of the time, and they're just great. I totally encourage everybody to do that. So Star Wars Minute's on a hiatus. We know we've got a Mandalorian and Grogu movie somewhere down our line. Hopefully we're going to get Star Wars Minute versions of that. In the meantime, where do you want people to find you? What are you working on? Is there anything else you want to plug besides these live reads?
Well, my personal website, alexrobinson.fun. You can find links to Star Wars Minute, to Godfather Minute. We've completed Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. We are sort of doing a deep inhale before going on to Godfather 3. So we'll see when that eventually goes out. But yeah, and I'm an artist. As I mentioned, I've done graphic novels. Most of them are available through Top Shelf Comics. You can find those online, digital or old-fashioned print stuff.
Outstanding. Well, we love having you on. We love talking to you about all the different things you're working on. We are going to take a quick commercial break. You're going to stick around. And when we get back from the break, we are going to play our weekly Star Wars news game that is built around the Around the Horn format from ESPN called Around the Galaxy, appropriately enough. So we will be right back with more ATG Live.
selects this week's most overhyped Star Wars news from our website and forces a panel of organic life forms to argue about it. Loudly. For points. That she gives out. However she wants. This makes no sense to me at all. This week's special guests will also join the chaos, pretending that their opinions matter, while Kelsey quietly calculates who lives, who dies, and who gets muted. And at the end, the so-called winner gets 60 seconds of uninterrupted airtime, because that's what this show needs. More talking. So, hold on to your motivator and brace for impact. This is Around the Galaxy. Do I have to say it? Do I really? Roger, Roger.
We are back. It is time to go around the galaxy. But before we do, Greg Iwinski, our roving correspondent, has been here, kind enough to hang out, is losing his phone battery, and it's about to die. So we're going to send him off into the wilds of Manhattan without a cell phone before we start this news game. Greg, thanks for hanging out.
Good to talk to you again.
Thank you so much. It was good to see you, man.
Great to see you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Next time I'll have
We'll see you soon.
a computer. Okay. Bye-bye.
So clearly, I'm starting him at like -40, right?
That's right. No points.
Okay,
for that
good. Just,
no
just
points
making
for
sure.
that guy.
All right, fine.
All right.
How
We're
are
jumping
you
in.
doing?
It's time to go.
All right, fine. Chill, man. God, like
Hi, Alex. How are
no,
you?
like, we
Hello.
literally have not seen Pete, and you're just like, hey, get the
It's
fuck
like
on the question right
pretending
now.
I'm still here. Yeah.
I'm
Like,
tired.
I'm just like, I'm sweating. That was like just gunfire right away, man.
I'm tired of losing to Pete, so I was trying to just blow past the fact that he's here.
Apparently, my goodness. You know what? Let's get Nick out of here. Let's get Pete to the stage.
What's going
Pete,
on? How are you?
we've missed you. I hope you're good.
I'm good.
I guess
I'm good.
apparently I have to start this right this second. You have nothing to say like before my question, all right? You're not allowed because of the parameters of the game. Just letting you know, Nick has laid down the law.
Yes.
All right?
All right.
Ready?
I'll do my
Okay.
best. I'll do my best.
All right. So since we were last on, canon adjacent material such as the Lego specials have teased a future where Finn embraces the Force, with Boyega's recent comments reigniting speculation. Could Finn finally step into the role of Jedi that he once expected, perhaps even alongside or against Rey?
We seem to mention Boyega becoming a Jedi and coming back to the series in one way or another. And in honor of our good friend Chris, I'm starting to come around to he doesn't need to come back as a Jedi, but he definitely has to come back as some sort of Force something or other. And I'd love to see him back in the saga, back in the series. And again, much like we've been saying about Daisy Ridley, do it before you're too old or it starts to look like you're desperate and coming back. But if he's willing to come back, sign that man up today.
All right. It's a strong start from you. Not the usual start we have.
No,
That's
it's
okay.
true.
Alex, you have any thoughts on this?
I will take up the contrary position and say that he should not return to Star Wars.
Okay.
It's because Finn as a character was never really. I mean, if he did come back, it would be to do something with Finn because as a character, he's kind of blah and but I like Boyega, and I'd rather see him in other things besides Star Wars. So that's basically what I'm saying.
Okay.
So.
All right. That's fair. I mean, no bad points there, Nick.
Not a pressure. I didn't. This is really being judged.
See,
yes.
Just not at me. I'm starting out behind.
Oh yeah, no. This is how the game goes. I dole out points for
You
no
hold
reason.
other power.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say straight up
Good
Finn
eye.
Jedi. Let's go. Give us straight up Finn Jedi. Give it some sort of like exposition, minute and a half cutscene, something. Oh, it turns out I actually was. And early on, when Rey started her academy, I was the first. And now here we are 10 years later. Let's let Finn be a Jedi. Let's let Finn have a lightsaber. Let's let him have a role in whatever is going on with this academy. Maybe he's the recruitment guy. Maybe he's out searching the galaxy using his Jedi skills to find other Jedi. But then maybe that controversy and that head-to-head still happens because in this new Jedi Academy, he finds somebody that he believes in and she doesn't, and it leads them to have a moment where they have a conflict. Like, I think that story could still be told and say, why not? I mean, this is the new Jedi Academy. We read the old new Jedi Academy trilogy by Kevin J. Anderson in the 90s. Let's pull some shades of that, pull some strings on it, and maybe there's a conflict there. I'm down for it.
I like that, Nick. And I'm going to stick with you on this next one just because you've been riding with me all night. So the full cast and creative team has finally been unveiled for Starfighter. Any surprises or late ads that got you excited?
There's two, and I think they're probably the ones that most everybody feels about. I'm excited about Aaron Pierre being in Star Wars. I think he's a great actor, the things I've seen him in. I really hope they don't put him in an alien mask. Like, let's let him be Aaron Pierre on screen. Handsome as hell, strong presence, maybe one of the pilots in Ryan Gosling's, wing, or maybe it's his commander. Like, let him have a good role. The one that I'm not certain about, and I'm not going into the crazy talk, I don't know how I feel about Amy Adams being in Star Wars. Like, Roger. Star Wars is built on, unknown. Star Wars is built on people we don't know. And of course, you're going to see people, along the way. In newer Star Wars, we get a lot of people that we know. But I read that press release, and it was the last name on that little blurb that I read. And I went, And I like Amy Adams fine. But I just don't know how I feel about Amy Adams in Star Wars. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be excited to watch it because I'm a Star Wars fan, and that's what we do. But at this point, I'm going, and I don't think she's Mara Jade. And I don't think there's some kind of flashback because she happens to have red hair, and it's not it. But I also just go, does she fit? And she might. And if she is, I'll be the first one to say, I was wrong. She was awesome. But right now, I don't know.
That's fair enough. Alex, do you have any thoughts on this?
I got no beef with Amy Adams being in a Star Wars. That's fine. I do think it's interesting that they do seem to be using this time around more recognizable names. Besides Amy Adams, you got Ryan Gosling and Matt Smith and Mia Goth, and so I think I saw someone else say this, and I agree that it's probably nervousness on Lucasfilm's part, that they're like, being a Star Wars does not seem to be enough to get people interested. We're going to have to put some stars, at least low-level stars, to kind of get people to come in and see it. So we'll see what happens. I guess the prequels kind of did a similar thing where they used a mix of unknown actors and, B-level people.
Your McGregors and your Neesons mixed in with,
Pete.
Yeah, so I'm excited about Matt Smith. I'd love to see him. I can't wait to see him in there. And I'm going to go the other way around. Amy Adams, I'm going to say it right now. We're going to save this clip. Amy Adams, because every black guy in Star Wars is related to Lando. That means that every redhead has to be Mara Jade. And so let's go, Mara Jade.
Maybe it's Hux's daughter.
Yeah. It could be. No, but I'm going Mara Jade. I'm going to push the chips on that, and I wanted to
mark the tape. Right now.
And I just want it because I really want to see what happens in the weird spots in social media. The other thing that I think is really interesting is Mia Goth. Actually, after I saw that she was in it, I watched all three of the X series of films that she's in. And she's just weird. Like, she's like perfectly weird. I'm going to mark this tape. She'll be playing a Twi'lek. She'll be playing a Twi'lek in this. I know, Alex. It's like the easiest way to go, and we don't get crazy aliens. But that's what's going to happen. So Amy Adams is Mara Jade, and Mia Goth is going to be.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first.
What's Dooku's old apprentice? The lady with the
Oh, well, she's from Dathomir.
Oh yeah,
She's a Night Sister.
Well, what's her name?
Asajj
Ventress.
Ventress.
I could see her
Yeah.
being more of a Ventress.
Yeah,
I hope not a
okay.
Twi'lek. Oh.
Yeah, no.
I know.
I
We're
actually,
Twilight
I'm
out,
going to
aren't
give
we?
you like
Yeah.
a couple extra points on that round because
Okay.
I think that's a better guess than a Twi'lek. Yeah.
Well, and I
Yeah, no,
almost feel like Alex needs extra points just for his reaction to when Pete said that, because the deep hurt that caused in his heart when Pete said that was just like, come on, really?
It definitely. I feel like I offended him somehow. Like,
Yeah, we're
you know,
lobbying.
My
for this
grandmother
point
was
at
a
this point.
Twi'lek.
I didn't know this was a pro Twi'lek show. I thought it was a safe
That's
space.
right. It's a problem. Yeah,
Safe
it's a
space.
problem.
Oh my goodness.
Twi'lek. Let's see some more Bib Fortuna kind of Twilight.
Real.
It's like hot chicks. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mayor McCheese, like we need that guy. What's going on?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh, man.
Sirs, there's a woman here. Chill.
Okay, let's come on. Let's bring it home. Bring it
All
back.
right. Well, speaking of women, Pete. All right. So my lady Katie Sackhoff recently
Yeah.
opened up about her personal and professional like troubles like while playing Bo-Katan. This hurts me on a deep personal level, which I've expressed with you. Did you feel like any of that coming through while she was playing the character of Bo-Katan on screen during The Mandalorian?
No, but you know what? It's hard to tell, and I'm going to say why, and I'm going to get some flack for this. But the acting in Mandalorian is so B-level; it's impossible to really tell if she was having trouble with it. I mean, even look. I absolutely loved Carl Weathers, but what I loved about him was how he was so vivacious and everything was big. It was like he was acting in a Greek theater and he was trying to reach the back of the auditorium. But that's, I couldn't tell. I had no idea. And it's actually very sad in a way because it was just great to see her character come back with the actress who did her voice. And, you know, we all loved her in Battlestar Galactica. So it was just cool to see her. And it's just really strange to hear. And I certainly did. It didn't come through in her performance. If you know, Katie, if you're watching, it didn't come through in your performance.
Did she say what made it so difficult?
Yeah, no, I just I'm curious, like, if you guys felt like it came across on screen because I didn't personally.
Mm-mm.
Alex, do you want to like speak on this?
I don't. Sorry, Katie. I know you're a fan, but I didn't like her character. I didn't like her whole character in the Filoniverse. Sorry. Like that, the whole this Mandalore. We have to get her. It's too like high fantasy. Oh, the prophecy that there would be a beast and all this stuff. Like, come on, this isn't what Star Wars is. For me, that's not what Star Wars is about. But anyway, I'm sorry to hear she didn't have a good time. That's why I'm curious to see if it was like a reaction to fans or was it the material or what was she?
I don't know. Like, yeah, no, I've been curious about it because I actually worked for her. She did a VO read for me and like as Bo-Katan, and like I didn't get that vibe from her that she like hated playing the character. And I was like, when I read that, I was like, man, that's kind of unfortunate. That it made me feel really bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it speaks to, and of course, I'm not an actor. I'm just somebody who thinks, you know, I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. She talked about, in the article, she talked about how the transition from animation to live action, having to actually personify this character and the trauma that Bo-Katan carried, she felt like that wasn't who she was as a person. So she it essentially read like she felt like she was faking it. And that's what acting is. But actors are true to their craft. They want to feel and embrace a character. And so the thing that really struck me is in that article, she said that she stopped auditioning for like 3 years for other properties, not just Star Wars. And she doesn't know that she will be involved in a future thing because she felt like she couldn't embrace it in the way she was supposed to. And I think that speaks to her love of the craft, her love of acting. She's fantastic. You know, Battlestar Galactica, Longmire. I do love her in Rebels and the way she did that. I do think it's incredibly challenging to be the person that goes from animation to live action. And we've had this conversation a lot because Ashley Eckstein is not Ahsoka Tano in live action. And it may be that there's, you know, they feel like certain actors can do it, certain actors can't. But I feel like her reaction to it is a genuine love of her craft and what she does. And, you know, Pete and I spend a lot of time texting back and forth about this show and what we do and picking each other apart and saying, I don't feel like I did this good. And him going, yeah, you were fine. That's what we do as creatives. And I think that she is personifying that in this new story.
Yeah, no, I feel like you hit the nail on the head there. I'm going to stick with you for our final question, though. So this one, I was kind of hoping to have Chris for this because, like, I was very curious, like, his thoughts. But Simon Kinberg credits Andor as the blueprint for his upcoming Star Wars films. Do you think this is a positive, or do we want the films to go back to being, like, a fun space adventure instead of, like, a little heavy, you know?
I think there's space to find a middle, and I think Simon Kinberg has the opportunity to do that because I'm sure this is Disney Lucasfilm, the new version of Lucasfilm. There's some guidance that's coming his way. There's some things that are going, look, we're going for movie theater, we're going for popcorn, we're going for family, we're probably going for tentpole in the summertime. It's got to hit some certain spots. You've got to have some humor, you've got to have a broad appeal, you know, because give me 4 Andor movies, I'll watch every one of them. But I'm a very target specific niche audience. I think he is the right one to go, holy crap, there's a lot of good stuff in there that's going to reel in the people like me who love The West Wing and who loved House of Cards and who love, you know, these other Tony Gilroy, you know, adjacent things. I think this is the right move. I think he has the ability to kind of bridge a gap and go, you know what, Star Wars is still for kids, but also I've grown up with Star Wars my entire life and Star Wars has grown up with me. I think he has the ability to thread that needle exactly right. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right. Alex, do you have any thoughts on this?
I liked Andor, but I get what you're saying about it being heavier for a Star Wars movie. Yeah, I'm torn because personally I would much rather they go in the Andor direction than in the Ahsoka direction or the Skeleton Crew direction, as much as I like Skeleton Crew. Sure. Because I feel like, despite what all the nerds say, Star Wars is for children. It's a children's. It's aimed at children. It's a children's fable. At least that's how it started out. So I would say I don't think they should do like an R-rated Star Wars movie or a Star Wars movie that a kid would not be able to, especially for the movies. You could do the TV series, make those more niche, you know, aimed at people. But for the movies, I want to see a big tent open there. So, but again, yeah, we don't know what he means by being inspired by Andor.
That's fair. Pete, you want to round us out?
Sure. I think the only concern I have about that is I think we need to make sure, or I hope he's starting with story and then sort of seeing if it fits in the Andor world or not. Like, don't try to make an Ahsoka story and make it into an Andor feel, right? So if he can put it together, and again, yeah, I think I like to think what he meant by it was that Andor showed him that you can go toward that more, you know, more either politically driven or more serious toned type of a Star Wars story. Because yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Alex, I totally agree with you. It's like if your big Star Wars movie that hits for that particular year is not something you can take a 10-year-old, you know, niece or nephew to, it's not a Star Wars movie. And I think that's why another reason why Andor works so great as a television show, as a series, because my son hasn't watched a minute of Andor. He's going to be 13 in a week, and he can't get into it. And I would hate to take him to a movie theater and have him not get into it, because that's also going to turn people away from that Star Wars logo, and kind of, you know, say this isn't the kind of stuff that I want to watch. So that's that. That's my
all right. Yeah, well, you know what? You got close, but I do think that Alex gets the 60 seconds to promote here, because I feel like he made better points than you. Sorry, Pete.
That's
I know you just like rushed in. Like,
I know. I think I
give you the win. My bad.
I didn't even get introduced. I mean, I just kind of like appeared
well, Pete,
like a force ghost.
I kind of hope people know who you are when
That's
you're
true.
here. Because
That's true,
like,
but
that would be embarrassing if someone like joined in and like, who the hell is this guy?
Who's that guy with the beard?
No, that's
Don't know
wild.
him.
With the
All right,
New York
so
Giants hat on.
Alex needs to promote. All right. You have the floor, my guy.
So this isn't necessarily promote. I can talk about whatever I want, right?
Anything you
Yeah.
want to. 60 seconds.
Well,
It's
first
all
of all,
yours.
and I feel like I could be giving away $1 million ideas here, but for the sake of society, these are two things I want to get on my soapbox about. Why on earth do airplanes not have cup holders in built into the seats or the place where it's most likely to fall over? Oh, that little tiny that 4 millimeter cup holder
Indention
is
on the
supposed to
tray?
do something. Is that
No.
supposed to stop anyone? So come on, airlines, get with it.
Who's buying that?
And second of all, I want to buy a new pillow. I need a new pillow, but who likes pillow shopping? Is impossible these days. It's always impossible because what do you lay on it in the store? Oh, this isn't good. This feels okay. I think there should be hotels that are specifically each room would have a different bed and a different set of pillows, and so that way you could try different beds, sleep on them, and see if you liked it. And then you're like, you know what? Give me the set you have in room 38. That's the one I want. Have it shipped to my house. No question.
This makes all the sense in the world. I had to go sleep in an office for 24 or 12 hours to get a freaking CPAP machine so I don't die when I sleep. Why can't I do that for a pillow too? Like a sleep test to find out if you have sleep apnea. Sure. A pillow should work the same way. I'm with you.
Exactly. Is this, does this come out of my time, or is this?
No,
you're good.
Like, he jumped in on your time. Like, if you need 15 more seconds, you can have it. Nick, shut the hell up.
I'm done. I'm good.
Oh,
okay. All right, fair enough. All right, I'm going to commercial then.
All right.
R2? Where are you? R2? R2? Huh? R2, you're on fire! R2-D2, you found a cigarette! Well, I don't think smoking is grown up at all. Because it's very dangerous. Smoking does dreadful things to your lungs and is very bad for your heart. Well, I know I don't have one, but humans do, and I think we should set a good example. Well done, R2. Oh, hello. You know smoking is bad for your health, and it isn't grown up at all. So please, don't smoke. R2, do you really think I don't have a heart?
Well, we're back, and thank goodness for that. And that's just the classic. I love Alex. It's like, I'm behind the thing. I can't be seen. Yeah, no, that was my delay. I love the classic C3PO commercial, and I love the pictures of Anthony Daniels. It's such a different world, right? So desperate for a cigarette, they have to shove it in that little tiny square, so he can have one. Have you gotten Anthony Daniels to do? Will he do a live read show? You got to get him to do one. I don't know if he will though.
He
does everything else Star Wars.
He would want payment though. I feel
that's
like.
True. Yeah. I always
say
a
handful of actual people who have been in Star Wars in the live shows. It's always fun.
That's cool. Well, Alex, once again, give your email, or not your email address unless you want to, where people can find you on the World Wide Web and keep up with all the cool stuff that you do.
Well, you can listen to Star Wars Minute at starwarsminute.com, where you could probably find it wherever you get your podcasts. And as for me personally, if you go to alexrobinson.fun, there you'll find links to my comics, to my podcasts, and to my artwork.
Cool. That's great. And if people want to know the style, just look behind Alex. It's so
great.
I remember asking you the first time it was on. That's such a cool collection. I would actually say I'm going to go on a limb here, and maybe this is a hot take, but better than the big banner that was up at Star Wars Celebration Chicago that everybody freaked out about. So I just like that. I just like that style. And honestly, it brings me back to my childhood, like some of the books that I had it's just a cool style. So so check that out. Head on over to Alex's site, keep up with him. And let's see. So we have a couple things coming up. Next week will be the first week of our Star Wars fantasy football, sports ball thing. We're going to put those up. So if you're listening, go check the Twitter. Unfortunately, we're on Twitter at ATGcast, and that's where the voting's going to take place. We can't figure out how to put it anywhere else. So, because Nick and I are senior citizens, and the internet is scary.
It's not even your fault. Like they've
No,
broken
it's true.
social media. Like
Yeah.
I'm
broken.
younger than both of you by, I would say, a lot.
Okay, all right.
Easy,
Okay.
easy.
Younger than both of you
But
combined.
just saying, like I deleted my Twitter, like, and I don't even
Yeah.
know where to get stuff anymore. So
Yeah, I get it.
that was
Same.
the point. My bad.
It's okay.
You
Well,
guys are very, very young adults.
yeah. So
We're very young old guys.
we're going to kick that off next week. So make sure to join us. And then in 2 weeks, we have Heather Antos joining us. And then the week after that, can we announce that, Kelsey?
Yeah.
It's booked?
Yes, it's confirmed. Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Greg Wyszynski from ESPN is going to join us. Yeah.
Another Star Wars Minute regular.
Yeah, no, I guess I can't escape my ESPN brethren. Like,
Yeah.
like
Well, yeah. So Nick, we'll also, what we'll also do next week? We're gonna talk about my new book next week a little bit, because it's
that's a
actually
good
available
idea.
for pre-sale and all that stuff. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and I'm
And
sure
we
we'll have
we've
Yes.
kicked this idea around.
Okay.
We may
yes.
next week may be the Dragon Con trivia night.
Oh yeah, I think that might be a good
Because
idea.
Dragon Con was this past weekend. I was there for work. First of all, shout out to the Life South Community Blood Centers team. I talked about this the week before we were gone. My team that works, and we do a blood drive at Dragon Con every year. This is our 24th year that we do this. Over 4,000 people signed up to donate blood at Dragon Con last weekend, which is incredible. And if you know anything about donating blood, a single human blood donation has the opportunity to save 3 separate lives. So it's a big deal, and it's a great weekend. It's busy, it's crazy, and I saw every costume you could think of, and it's such a fun environment to be in when people are willing to do something to help somebody else out. So it was a great weekend. But next week, Dragon Con Star Wars trivia quiz, where the wheat meets the chaff, and we just separate it all out.
Yeah, that's where we I think that's what started last year, us completely throwing off our baseball bet, because we bet on that, and it's just we'll have to come up with some other sort of side thing. But
Right.
Alex, thanks again for hanging out and being so gracious with your time. We really appreciate. Oh, Kelsey, yeah, see you.
I just wanted to say, like, real quick before we sign off, if Matt was in the chat, like, I didn't see him. I had a whole thing for Solo for his birthday. Happy birthday, my guy. Solo still sucks. Sorry. All right.
Whoa.
I will expand if he decides to come back.
All right. Well, hopefully
We'll
we'll
catch
see
him
him
up on
next
that
week.
one next week.
Yeah, no, I think next week's going to be sort of a free for all, catch all, crazy evening, which is good. We need those every now and then.
Yep.
Alex, thanks again. Nick, may the force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.